Hey guys, welcome to Rotor Riot. Today we're taking a look at the all-new DJI FPV drone.
This drone is made by DJI and it is more similar to our freestyle drone. So this drone is capable of all of the freestyle drone tricks that we do, but it also has some other beginner modes so it can fly similar to the other DJI camera drones that
this is unlike a drone DJI has ever made before.
Yeah.
This can fly very similarly to the drones that they have made before, like the Mavics and the Phantoms, with GPS hold, altitude hold, all the assistances that you might be used to if you've flown a DJI product before. But what makes this special is two things. You can pilot it FPV, first person view with low latency. Not like the screen you're looking at the Mavic.
Like in the goggles, full FPV mode.
And you see the motion of the drone.
Yeah.
And all those flight assistances we were talking about, you can turn all that off. You can fly this thing in full acro. You can do flips, power loops, all the things that we do here on Rotor Riot that maybe you've never seen before. Maybe you're not familiar with what FPV means. And I think that's exactly what this drone is for. This is a drone created to help get people into FPV, to make it easy for them to fly FPV and ease them into the world of full acro drone flight. So I can't wait to get this thing in the air. But before we get to that, let's see what all do you get when you buy this drone.
A lot of you guys have been waiting to see DJI come out with something like this, and personally, I am very interested to see. I'm going into this with no expectations. Let's get the box open and see what we got. Here we have the DJI FPV drone. I'm gonna break all these components down. Looks like the same goggles. I believe there might be some differences, but visually speaking, they look the exact same. Ooh, okay, this is kind of slick. This is the DJI FPV drone controller. I do really like the form factor. It reminds me of some other radios that are on the market. And then besides that, we got some props. We have B props and A props. One thing that can be really complicated when it comes to drones is figuring out what prop goes where. So on this one, I can already tell they've labeled it out of the box. You have B and you have A. I want to hear it boot up. Whoa. Whoa. That was so cool. Looks like this is gonna be our accessories, cords. Looks like we have another pod. It looks like that's for the shell out here. So if you want to change the look of the shell. Looks like we got some cords. What I find interesting, and I was very curious, the FPV goggles usually power off of a LiPo battery. And it doesn't look like they've included a normal size LiPo battery, but they give you a cord. So this is actually really an awesome feature because normally in the past you have to use a LiPo battery, which for anyone who flies drones, it's no problem, but it looks like now you can power your FPV goggles through one of these guys. So I kind of like not having to dedicate drone batteries. And here we have our FPV antennas. These screw onto the DJI goggles. This looks to be a USB to Type-C. These look like they are stick ends. They go on the side of the radio now. It looks like the radio comes with stick ends already. To put these on, they're really simple. They just screw on. So out of the box, it's got a flip up antenna. Really, really nice for being able to transport your drone because you want to fly with your antenna up like this, but when you're transporting it, you can pop it in like that. This isn't a new idea or a new concept. There's some drone controllers on the market that already do this, but I'm very happy to see DJI following the trend and incorporating it. The gimbals, they feel pretty good. DJI's gimbals have always felt really good to me. I don't like how they don't have a lot of resolution. More resolution you have, which is in theory the more control throw that you have, easier it's gonna be to make small movements. When you have kind of like smaller gimbals, it can be really, really hard to fly smooth. FPV goggle wise, these goggles look the exact same as the first ones. I was really hoping to see a smaller version of the DJI goggles. I know a lot of people have been holding off on buying goggles because there's been rumors of a V2, and I personally have gotten used to the size of them, and I really love how beautiful the image in the screen is, so I don't really think about it anymore. However, it would be nice to see a more sleek goggle. I mean, they've shaved the controller size down, it looks like, so I would love to see this get smaller in the future. Finally, the drone, which I still don't know how to turn off. Looks like we have our FPV camera up here. I'm assuming this is gonna be a pretty darn good camera. It may be upgraded from the previous one, considering it's all integrated. I'm assuming this camera is probably gonna be pretty good. The motors look pretty good. They feel really good as well. They're not your standard drone motor. They're very DJI proprietary. The props snap into place, and it looks like that's pretty much the only way to do it. Besides that, it feels really rigid. It definitely feels heavy, so I'm very curious to see how this thing performs.
That was great, Alex. Good job. Now we're gonna go fly with Jeff. All right, so we're checking out some of the different flight modes that you have available here. This is your flight mode switch. In the top position, that's normal. Middle position is sport, and all the way down will be manual if you've done the things that you need to actually enable manual. So right now it actually is still in sport. So normal mode is pretty much like flying a Mavic. But you know what's different though? It does mixing. So as you're going forward and you give it yaw, it banks the turns.
Okay.
And you see the banking
with
happen.
just a yaw?
Yeah, you don't need to use the roll. Sport modes just makes it faster and it enables cruise control. You get going fast or whatever speed you want, you can kind of pick your speed, hit this button here, this trigger, and now it's in cruise control mode and it just keeps flying forward, and then I can just steer.
That's kind of
actually cool. Just with one stick, but really you should train steering with two sticks. And what I find really interesting, this really is somewhat of an acro trainer, because when you're flying a drone in acro mode, you tilt it forward and it just keeps going forward, and then when you roll and yaw, you carry your momentum around the turn and keep going forward.
Right, you have to pull back to slow down.
Right. And
what happens if you do pull back? Does it?
It slows me down.
Okay, so you still have stick brake.
Yeah, you have a stick brake, but you also have a brake. So let's say I get going forward and I get a little panicked. I'm like, oh crap, this trigger up here, hit that and it just, whoo! Oh my, did you hear that?
Yeah,
you go,
like, it slammed the brakes.
It slammed the brakes so hard I saw the frame come into the camera view. Let me swap out the battery for you.
Oh, it's a little punchy.
Yeah.
The horizon's not flat.
Oh, well, because you're flying in the wind, so it's actually...
Oh, okay.
It's position holding.
It cooks? Oh, whoa, that is weird. That when you yaw, it banks.
Right? Having done FPV for a while, it's... Like, I almost don't like that, but I think it will really help people understand that when you turn, you need to bank it. I see a lot of people struggle with that when they're just starting FPV. Woo! Are you in normal mode?
Yeah.
You are cooking in normal mode.
Yeah, it goes. It has augmented reality. There's an H where you land.
Yeah, that's your home point. Isn't that crazy?
That's pretty cool. Okay. I kind of like it. Oh, it slowed me down because I was close.
Oh, to the obstacle?
Yeah.
Do you want to try and run into something?
Slow it down a little bit just in case, but I don't.
Yeah,
think
don't just blast into it. Wait. Oh, I hear it beeping.
Yeah, it won't let me. I'm getting pretty damn close though. I don't know, I pulled back. Should I try?
It might let you do it. Like, it might be one of those things where it slows you down, but if you push forward, it'll let you do it. Now, don't try to hit it. Or at least if you're gonna try and hit it, do it close where I can see it.
Yeah. I don't really want to, but it makes it obvious you're about to hit something, I'll tell you that. Let me try sport mode.
There. So one down, there, then sport. Yeah, she's a little fast.
Oh yeah, she cooks!
Oh my God!
This thing's really fast! And it is weird that you don't, it just like turbo boosts you, because you don't have to tilt. That's kind of cool. I kind of like that.
It's so counterintuitive, you're just like...
It was going faster the other way.
Whoa!
The wind favors the other way.
If you're coming from a Mavic, this is gonna feel like significantly faster.
Like insanely fast.
And just the sound. It's weird that it sounds like one of our drones, but then like if you brake, it does a Mavic move.
Yeah, I just hit the brake.
Oh,
got an e-brake. That's so funny. Oh, I did return home.
Yeah, but here, hit it again, and that'll let you stay there. Have you tried the cruise control yet?
No, that just works anytime, right?
Yeah, but you have to get. It is.
Or that one.
This one, yeah. So if you start it and then you hit it.
Yeah, cruising. Yeah, you can just fly with one stick. That's all you need.
You're just doing that with one stick?
Yeah.
All right, fly through the awnings. Do it.
Cruising, cruise control. I'm just doing the yaw, that's it, and I'm slaloming. It's easy to do slaloms.
So that was all with one stick?
Yeah.
That's insane.
This is like definitely the best trainer mode ever. Yeah, that's pretty cool. If you're comfortable with the speed, you can just get it going like really slow, just creeping along.
That's something I did not think I was gonna like, the cruising mode. When I was kind of reading through everything I had, I was like, I don't want to cruise you, like you should fly it. But when you actually fly it, if you have any drone experience, it's weird how much your natural instincts start to creep in, because it starts to emulate the look of it, the way it
right, but it feels so weird because all you're doing is this. But it was a little weird for me. I was timid to drop down into a gap because it's a different. It's not like I'm chopping the throttle. I'm telling it I want to go lower.
Right. Well, and the other thing is if you wanted to drop through a gap with one of our drones, you would also
Yeah, I could
pitch
pitch
forward,
the nose
look
down.
through it.
Right.
But this, the camera is locked.
Yeah, I wasn't confident it would drop down quickly,
I mean, if you,
which it probably would.
If you want to get crazy, this dial actually changes the camera angle.
Oh, yeah?
So you could be flying, look down, and do it like that. I don't know about that, though. That's kind of wild.
I want to play with that. Let me play with that.
Okay.
That is kind of cool to be able to change the camera. For reveal shots, you gotta like think of it like
You're
flying a
thinking
Mavic.
cinematic.
Yeah, cinematic. That's what this would be good for. It'd be good for cinematic FPV.
That's kind of what they want it to be, is like right in the middle. They want to take a Mavic and they want to take a pro grade FPV drone and find that sweet spot right in the middle. It's a very weird thing to find a hybrid for because they're so drastically different.
I think because of the gimbal, that's why I like the cruise control. Because it is a little weird, like, you don't have that fine control.
Wait,
like,
what just happened?
I don't know.
I think it's
low
returning
battery
home.
return.
Oh, it's just low battery returning home.
Can I override it?
Yeah, you can just
She does not like coming down.
coming down flat. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, today is an interesting day to have done this because it stayed really stable despite the wind. So how are you landing it? Just hold down altitude?
It's kind of easy to land. Just land.
I'm surprised how much you enjoyed flying it, given that you're like a very seasoned pro FPV acro pilot,
Yeah,
right?
well, I'm gonna use it for what it is.
Right.
Just to like enjoy the novelty of, because I have a Mavic. I don't use it a lot, but I've flown it, and I always want it to be that.
It's pretty
kind of cool, and the fact that I can just cheater mode. Like, I'm not that good at slaloms to begin with my quad.
Right.
I was almost doing them better just like, because it's doing so much of the work for me.
Yeah. But ultimately, I think someone who has never flown a drone before could like work their way through it. Like, I think this has a really cool way to
you'll be
like,
shooting
train.
gaps day one.
That's nuts.
I think.
The DJI drone is capable of flying in full acro manual mode, just like the freestyle drones that folks like me are used to flying. But DJI knows that this drone is also going to be bought by like your typical DJI pilot, and they don't want those guys getting in trouble right out of the gate. So they make you jump through a few hoops in order to enable full manual acro mode. And the first hoop is that this rocker switch here, which switches flight modes from normal to sport to manual mode, when you first get the drone, that manual mode switch is just sport mode. In order to change that, you need to go into the remote controller configuration in the goggles and go down to that custom setting and change the custom setting from sport mode to manual mode. When you flip that switch into manual mode, the drone will not immediately start flying in acro mode. Rather, it will make you hold the throttle in a certain position, just a little bit below center, and it'll make you center the sticks. And the idea there is that they want you to switch into manual mode, acro mode, with the sticks in a position where the drone won't just like suddenly start flying to the moon. So they basically have you hold it in a hover position, more or less. Once you do that, then it'll switch into manual mode and you'll be flying in acro mode. But there is still one more safety precaution that you're going to want to turn off if you truly want to do freestyle flippy flops. You see, they ship the drone with an angle limit, and that means that if you go full stick deflection, say you go left roll or right roll, the drone will not actually do a loop. It will go to a certain point, stop, and not go any further. In order to disable that, you're going to go back into the controller config. You're going to go to the rates and expo section, and down at the bottom there is a toggle to turn off the angle limit. Once you do that, you will literally be flying in full acro mode. By the way, that's also where you can change the rates if you want to adjust the rates to match your normal freestyle rates, or to change the rates to make them faster or slower, depending on what you need from the flight characteristics of the drone.
So when you get it in full true manual mode, your throttle will turn into a normal throttle. So to get to the screws, you peel back this like grip cover. Changing the tightness of the F1 screw changes how much the throttle will keep in position, like how much friction there is. So it's pretty loose right now. So look, if I just shake the radio, we got a little floppy throttle. Let's tighten that up a little bit, and now the throttle stays where I put it. The F2 is spring. So by changing the tightness of F2, you change how much force there is recentering the stick. In certain modes where there's altitude hold, you want that stick centered because the throttle stick isn't actually a throttle stick, it's an altitude stick. But when we fly acrobatic drones, this is actually a throttle stick. So we just want no throttle, all throttle. And see, I've still got a little bit of spring there. We want to get rid of all that. So with an aerial platform drone, you start and stop the motors with stick commands, right? On our FPV drones, we use arm switches. So we need to put it in M for manual. And now, if you do a stick arm, it's still not going to be a manual. What you need to do is, instead of doing a stick arm, you need to use this start and stop button, and you double tap it. So tap, tap, and now it's armed. And then if you need to disarm, tap, tap.
Hey, smooth. Got a little flutter.
It's so weird seeing a drone that looks like that fly like one of our
That
drones.
was power lines.
So did you just split S it?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Power looping.
This is so cool.
It's not the best tune, I can say that. It feels like a stock beta flight tune.
This guy's so picky.
Is there any pin tuning available?
I'm going out over the water. Going over the fountain. Well, it flies pretty good. I don't really feel like the latency or anything. I mean, definitely not the best flying drone I've ever felt. I will say flight time, I think I'm looking at my battery and it says I got 58%, or it tells me how much time I have left, which is really awesome. So it's kind of estimating. So right now it says I got about 4 minutes left, which I'm ripping it. I have to fly the other DJI camera for comparison, but I will say this camera, I like it a lot. I don't know what the latency is or anything, but it doesn't feel latent. It looks better to me, but that could just be the lens, which I think is different on this. The colors look really good to me. As someone who would be getting into FPV, getting into FPV drones, is perfect. Because this fly is just like a 5-inch quad. It feels heavy, because it is. It's about 800 grams. I looked at the manual. Power's really good though.
I'll be used to that. My quads are usually heavy.
This will feel very similar to you, Drew, to your quad, Drew. And the flight time's great. I like to, I'm just gonna come into a hover. I'm gonna try this. Being able to adjust the camera. Okay, that is so cool. So I can adjust the camera tilt there. So if I was, let's say, for filming.
Is it preset or is it?
No, I can adjust it. But it's holding its angle, right? So here we go. I'm in a hover and now I'm raising the camera up to, and it tells you the angle as well while you're in acro. So let's say I'm doing let's say in theory, Drew, I'm doing a shot where I'm chasing an object. Let's say pretend it's a skier here, and I'm gonna try and go in front of the object. Well, with our normal drones, we can't adjust the camera tilt in the air. So like I'm chasing the object, but when I get in front of him, I want to lower. Okay, this is sick. So I can lower my angle now and fly backwards. That is sick. That is the coolest thing on this so far. That just opens up so many doors.
So you can just you can be.
Here, watch. I'm gonna go I'll go gently backwards to this. So I have my camera tilt raised. Now I'm lowering it with my left finger. That is cool. That is cool because you can fly backwards now without the camera looking up at the sky.
That's so wild. So you could be like super
that.
Low camera angle, doing some crickets backwards, and then whip it around, raise the camera way up, and do a Matty flip.
That's honestly the coolest thing. I'm honestly really having fun with this. I was a bit pessimistic when I saw how heavy the drone was and everything, but it flies really, really well. I think there's gonna be pilots in the FPV community who complain that's like not the most well-tuned drone or the most powerful, but just from a person who enjoys flying freestyle and cruising, the features on this, it feels like a Mavic version of an FPV drone. And for anyone who's gonna complain about latency, which I am that person who would complain about latency, the latency feels really good on it. I'm not saying it's race capable, but I'm not a wild fan about the controller. Like I wish I had could fly with the other DJI radio, and maybe that's a possibility. I would prefer that. And I've been flying this thing forever. How long have I been flying for?
Go up in the air, flip upside down, and then flip it into a position hold mode. All right, so you're upside down.
Oh my gosh! It just saved it. It just saved itself. And
That's
it
amazing.
Oh, it says low battery, return to home. Oh my gosh. Oh my god.
Going down pretty fast.
Sick.
It's way faster than a Mavic. It does a better job of landing than you do.
It does. It does way better. Okay, I'm gonna sound really biased saying this. I really do like it. Would it be like my normal freestyle drone? I don't know. Maybe like
you would not use it to make this your normal freestyle drone.
Listen. I was able to fly around for what, 8 minutes at least? Maybe more, ripping it around, cruising. The camera is definitely better, in my opinion, than the one that we normally fly, which is just the normal DJI FPV camera. So I love the camera on there. I was expecting a ton of latency. Didn't feel a ton of latency. I do love the OSD on this too. The OSD font is amazing. It tells you where home is. Having those features, like listen, it's kind of would be a nuisance if you were just out flying freestyle a lot, I think. I did enjoy it a lot, and I would definitely keep it in my arsenal to fly. And I definitely have some people in mind who don't fly FPV typically who I would really want to fly this, because I feel like you can actually fly FPV very easily. So
sounds like a new person would really enjoy it.
Oh my gosh, if this is a perfect drone for a new person.
Yeah.
I'm gonna sound such a shill. I genuinely, like, this is perfect for a new person.
So I've been wanting to get my mom into the hobby, and she has basically no flying experience, and I'm gonna teach her to fly with this DJI.
You think she's gonna be able to fly?
I think she will.
Wait,
Oh, no,
I got this. I got this.
You got this.
Okay, I got this.
Oh, you're turning.
Oh, I'm doing it.
And this is my mom, FPV Mama.
Hey.
And she has been super supportive of me flying my FPV drone. I've been wanting to get my mom into FPV so she can experience the awesomeness of it. I think that this DJI FPV drone is a perfect drone for her because there's a bunch of like beginner features and stuff.
Pitch. Okay, now.
You see those leaves, right?
I see the leaves.
So go away from the leaves.
Okay.
Then. Go away from
so
the leaves.
So that means
yeah.
I have to roll.
Yes, to move yourself away from it.
Okay, all right, I get it.
Now go forward.
Forward. Wait. I just forgot which way. So, okay, pitch is the right side.
Remember, your objective is trying to go around the trees.
Which trees? There's so many.
Okay. Any trees.
All right.
So like you can like so if you want to you can stay in one place. Don't do that. Don't try to go backwards.
Don't do what? Okay.
Turn. Turn so you can see where you're going.
Okay. All right.
Turn.
So I'm trying.
Yeah. Use your yaw so you can see where you're going. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. This is awesome.
Always go forward.
I want to go this way and below that tree. I need to use pitch more.
Yes, you need to use pitch more.
Yes, I feel like I'm just, okay. All right.
So now try this.
Okay.
Now while you're going forward,
okay.
now try to give it yaw and roll, and then you'll be
yaw
turning.
And roll in the same direction?
Yes, while you're turning, while you're going forward.
Whoa, that's so cool!
So now you turned.
Oh my god!
You did
this
your
is like
first
the coolest thing ever. Oh my gosh, this is the best. Oh my gosh, Bubby, you should see what I just did. Oh my gosh, you would be so proud. Okay, wait, stop, watch. I'm gonna go through that gap.
Yes,
I'm going through the gap, Bubby style.
Go through that gap.
Okay, I'm going through that gap.
When you're hitting this gap, you're gonna make sure you're going straight through the gap.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna do it.
Mom!
Oh! Ah!
Don't go up! Don't go up! Mom,
okay,
disarm.
Okay, disarm.
Disarm.
Okay. Caleb, that was amazing!
You're gonna break the antennas! There's the antennas!
That was awesome! I can't believe I just did that. That was amazing.
I think it's sick. All the features are like a Mavic,
yeah,
but like FPV.
Yeah.
Which is not good for my job of like being hired for very specific talents. I do think that it's obviously not the same.
I don't think this replaces talent. I think it makes it easier for people to build that talent, but ultimately you have to know what you're doing.
I agree.
Because you're not going to get those shots in the assist modes. Like to get true, like really high quality FPV shots, you need to fly it in manual mode. And that's still going to take some practice. I know he makes it look easy.
I was backflipping, trying to go through the tree, and I hit the tree. In one piece.
All 4 of the lights are working.
One prop's gone. These props are bent. Plastic is fine though.
Yeah, it's okay. Props. You know, we can deal with props. Maybe have it gets it into the second forward. Or if you put them
It's kind of cool to like.
Just be able to take your hands.
It's kind of like
sticks.
a Tesla. Like it drives itself. You can put it in like track mode. This goggle battery is too low. Oh god. Oh god. Stop it.
What's it doing?
It's trying to fly home because I unplugged the goggles. Oh my god, look, it's got a spotlight. Guys, watch out. Oh my god, it's got a spotlight. Okay, so just a heads up. That's so cool. I unplugged the goggles because the goggle battery was getting low.
sick. The spotlight is sick.
The spotlight is so sick!
It is awesome.
I love the spotlight. Okay, so just a heads up, don't unplug the goggles while you're flying. I know that sounds ridiculous, but I figured it had position hold, and then I could just change my goggle battery real quick, but that upset it. So if you unplug the goggles, it takes that as a fail-safe. So that's good to know.
Oh, the spotlight on the ground is so awesome.
Is the spotlight
Yeah.
still on?
Oh my gosh.
All right, so check this out, Sean. Ready? Boom, purple.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, you can change it.
Yes. Make
can
it green.
change it.
Make it green. It's got to be green.
Green for
Oh!
Sean. Green for Sean.
Yes.
Green for
Fast
Sean.
and the Furious. Oh, he wants to see blue.
Oh, they don't have blue. Just kidding. Blue for
messing-
Hanover. Oh! I love
That's
that.
freaking cool.
That's freaking so
Yes,
cool.
I was hoping you could change the color.
This is the best part of the drone so far. Oh my God. Oh, wait.
Forget about all the other stuff. The colors are the most important part.
Wait.
Oh, yes, you can make the phone
can-
color too.
That's so cool. You can turn those on and off. Oh, look at that.
my God,
Look
it
at
even-
this. It's doing things.
That is so cool. All right, that's nuts.
Look at that. It does a thing. Like,
Oh my gosh,
that's so cool.
He gets on me for being obsessed with like the adjustable camera angle or whatever, and he's over here obsessed with lights.
The lights. So what's the best way to go from unboxing this to flying in acro mode? The first thing I'd say you should do is take away the centering on the throttle stick right out of the box. Even though you're not gonna get to actual acro mode for a little bit, I'd say get used to it. When you're flying an FPV drone, you don't have centering on the throttle. And that's gonna be something that if you're used to flying a Mavic or a Phantom, that might take a little bit of getting used to. So I'd say right away, get rid of it and get used to flying without it. And it will teach you throttle control. Get comfortable flying around in normal mode and then get your way into sport mode. And once you're in sport mode, getting used to those higher speeds, this might sound weird, use the cruise control mode. There's no cruise control on our drones. It does not really emulate how we fly our drones, but it does provide you with the feel. And what I mean by that is when you're flying in acro mode and you tilt the drone forward using the pitch stick and you return the pitch stick to center, the drone keeps flying forward. Cruise control simulates that feeling because you get going forward, you turn on cruise control and it'll just keep going forward. And then you steer it at that speed and you need to slow it down. It does not come to a stop when you center the stick. The next step would be really force yourself to move both of the sticks while you're turning. Something I don't like about this drone per se is that it builds in the banking to the yaw stick. So you can just steer this drone around only using yaw input, and as it goes around the turn, it automatically rolls to bank the turns for you, which, I mean, it's good because it gets you used to the visual of that happening. You need to learn that you need to do that yourself in manual mode. If you are in manual mode, going forward, and you just give it yaw, you can do that. You need to give it equal roll. Next step from there would be use the sim. DJI has a sim built into this whole system that you can fly with the goggles, with your radio and everything, and you can practice in manual mode in the sim with virtually no consequences. You're not gonna be crashing your real drone. So from there, get used to flying acro mode. And honestly, if you get very proficient flying in manual mode in the sim, you're not gonna have any problems. But let's be honest, you're gonna rush it. You're gonna feel like you know what you're doing, you're gonna wanna go straight to manual mode. That brings us to the final step. Put the drone in manual mode and keep your finger on the panic switch. The most impressive thing about this drone to me is just how well the panic switch works. You can be cooking at 60 miles an hour, flip upside down and go, I don't know what I just did, help! Hit the button and it goes, it just stops. It really just, it stops. It's crazy. Follow all these steps. It's kind of a weird set of steps. It's not really a set of steps that DJI outlined, but these are the steps that we think will yield the best success. We've been making videos for a long time about flying FPV drones because we think it's an amazing hobby, but it's always been a hobby that's been pretty difficult to get into because of how difficult it is to build the drones and how difficult it is to fly the drones. And this is a solution that leapfrogs you past both of those barriers and gets you flying right now. And eventually you'll be doing your own maintenance, you'll be flying a full acro drone, and you'll be getting the full FPV experience. And this is a great way to start on that journey.
I just really want to throw that.